What's good, YouTube? If you're looking for the best sharp block in NBA 2K23 for Season 6, you have come to the right place. This build can play amazing defense with Hall of Fame glove, Hall of Fame challenger, Hall of Fame clamps, has super solid shooting, can shoot from anywhere on the floor, has the most overpowered dunk package in the whole game with the quick drops, has great speed, everything you could want out of a 2-guard or a lock build. This build is it. It is it. It is him. Let's get straight into the build, man. Alright, so hopping straight into the build, as you can see, we are making this at the shooting guard position. The height is 6'3", weight's 225, wingspan 6'9", body shape. We're actually not going to go with compact. I'm not going to change it because it'll mess up the build and turn all the attributes down. But I would actually go with built, defined, or even burly on this build. The bigger body shapes on the locks, it might be placebo, but I feel like these bigger body shapes help out with defensive animations on the ball. So I would actually go with one of the bigger body shapes. Also, quick little thing I wanted to point out, this is not my build. I did not come up with this build. If you've watched any of Joe Knows and their Pro-Am team, this is actually their Sharp Locks build, known as Bauer. So I did want to quickly point that out. This is not my build, so I didn't want to take credit for it. I'm just showing y'all the build, and this build is an absolute monster, so shout out to Bauer and his team for using this build. So hopping into the roles of this build. Obviously, all the builds on my channel are designed to be used with a full team in Pro-Am or Rec. But this build is actually very, very good for playing by yourself. If you don't have anyone to play with, just hopping into the rec by yourself. This build is really, really valuable and really, really good because it doesn't really need the ball in its hands to be valuable to your squad. I mean, we have very good finishing, good defense, good shooting, good speed. But the actual roles of this build are designed with the mindset of playing with a full team. And those roles are as follows. Finish at the rim off cuts and fast breaks. Guard on ball or off ball, preferably on ball with that Hall of Fame glove and Hall of Fame challenger. All that's really, really useful for on ball defense. But hit consistently from anywhere on the floor, meaning deep limitless range or even the occasional fade here and there. And then that high speed for off ball movement and defense. The high speed is super valuable for wraps, cuts, dexes, all of that. But the true use of that speed is for defense. Being able to keep up with these really fast 6'1" PGs. They're just speed boosting all over the court, trying to go left, right. That speed really helps you keep up with those fades as much as possible. But when it comes down to it, playing defense in this game is not all of the lock's responsibility. Just because someone scores 30 points, it's not always the lock's fault. I feel like there's a lot of times that the only reason point guards really go crazy in the Pro-Am is because the team is not playing good enough team defense. So just keep in mind that this build is designed to be the absolute best possible for guarding on ball. But a lot of Pro-Am and Rec, you need your team. You can't be a one-man show unless you're playing against a very poor or average PG. But this build is designed to be the absolute best it can be for on-ball defense. Alright, so let's get into the must-have attributes for this build. These are basically the attributes that are very important thresholds. And they're also what makes the build what it is and makes it so elite. So we have the 80 driving dunk with 60 vert for the quick drops off of 1, probably the best dunk package in all of 2K. 99 steal, 97 perimeter defense for Hall of Fame glove and clamps. You also get Hall of Fame challenger and Hall of Fame interceptor as well. 92 3-ball for gold limitless range, super important for being able to space out the offense. Being able to shoot from deep limitless range is really, really valuable. Alright, and then 88 speed. Whew. 88 speed is just so good. I feel like most people kind of stop around the 75 to 80 range on their speed. A lot of locks will go a little bit higher towards like the 85, 87 range. But 88 speed, my goodness, this is just so valuable for guarding ball. And then also just having that speed for the off-ball movement for dexes, cuts, etc. I mean, that speed, I'm not going to lie. I was kind of torn if I wanted to put this on the must-have section. But it's kind of what makes this build so cool, is that you do have such high speed for all of the extracurricular stuff on the court. Alright, so hopping into the badges and the attributes, as you can see we have 16 finishing, 24 shooting, 11 playmaking, 31 defense, 88 speed, 79 excel, 76 strength, 60 vert, 90 stamina. All the physicals are really, really good on this build. That 76 strength is kind of slept on for locks. I feel like the higher strength gives you a little bit better body up animations. There's probably not any true test to prove that, but I've played enough of Pro-Am now against stronger locks, and I feel like they always just get better body up animations on me. So that's a nice little subtle thing to have on your lockdown build. 80 driving dunk will get you the quick drops off of 1. We actually have a pretty decent close shot on this build, which is kind of nice. Whenever you drive to the basket, if the dunk's not there, you can let them jump and then just go for a little quick, like fast twitch bucket. That actually is an option on this build. It's probably not something I would run personally, but it's definitely a nice little backup choice to do. The shooting on this build is very, very solid. We have a 92 3-ball, 78 mid-range, so very, very reliable to hit from deep limitless range and hit the mid-ranges. And then 73 free throw. You've probably heard me say this in previous videos if you've been here before, but anything above like a 65 to 70 free throw is fine. You can hit it pretty consistently. All right, so obviously the playmaking on this build is pretty weak compared to most 2 guards. We have a 75 pass accuracy, which is good for that LeBron pass style, but then the ball handle and speed with ball are very, very low. You're not gonna be able to do anything super crazy with these attributes. But they're okay. I mean, you'll get a few little packages that you can dribble with, but nothing very insane. If you're trying to dribble with this build really often, you're going to get ripped like 9 out of 10 times. Bronze Unpluckable will keep you somewhat safe, but if you're talking about Hall of Fame glove, gold glove, you're probably going to get ripped most of the time, so I wouldn't try to dribble too much with this build. So the absolute strength of this build is obviously the defense. 97 perimeter defense, 99 steal, a decent little block at 52, and then an 84 defensive board. Kind of slept on with these small guards, even for Pro-Am and Rec. It's kind of nice to get those box outs or the occasional board that goes a little bit too far for your center. So that's actually a pretty decent little stat to have, but obviously the most important stats here are that 97 perimeter defense and 99 steal. Super important. And then also, I know that most lockdowns this year are 6'7", 6'6", 6'9", but a 6'3" with 97 perimeter defense with 76 strength and 225 pounds is actually really glitchy. You have super high speed, you have the strength, and then you have the steal too. I mean, this build is just, it's all around just really actually kind of scary to go up against on a small guard. Sometimes for me, I would much rather play against a tall 6'7", 6'9" lock than play against like a 6'2", 6'3" lock that has much higher speed and cut me off from the lanes. So this is a really good build on defense. As I've mentioned before, it can be used to guard on ball or off ball, but these attributes are insane on this build. Alright, so that will conclude all the attributes. I'm not going to go into depth about every single little stat, but I did want to give a little rundown of the most important things about this build. Again though, this is not my build. This is Bauer's build from Jono's Pro-Am team. He's the sharp lock on their team. Really great player. But I do want to showcase this build on my channel because I think it's a really cool, unique build for their defense. But anyways, now let's hop into the takeovers and the badges on the build. Alright, so as far as this build goes for takeovers, I would go double perimeter badge drop if you're trying to be the primary lockdown on the team. The pure lock that guards ball 90% of possessions. But what I would probably do with a build like this, if you're playing off ball, then I would probably go limitless range in your primary and then perimeter badge drop in your secondary, or even flip the two to perimeter badge drop in your primary and then limitless in your secondary. But as you can see, the takeover options are very limited, but that's okay. We have 2 of the best takeovers in the game with limitless range and the perimeter badge drop. So either way, do what you choose, whatever fits your play style, but these are both really good takeovers. Alright, and as you can see, we made a 3&D 2 guard. The shades are there on the screen if you want to take a quick look. Also, if you haven't already, leave a like on the video. Helps out the channel, helps out the algorithm, so I'd really appreciate it. Also, if you haven't checked out the Pro-Am content on my channel yet, you are missing out. Check out the playlist in the top right corner right now. Super entertaining content, a lot of fun games. Anyways, now let's hop straight into the badges for the build. Alright, so getting into the badges for this build, as you can see, we're going to run Challenger, Clamps, Glove, Interceptor, Workhorse, and Pig Dodger. To me, this is probably the best setup for the on-ball lockdown, or even off-ball. This is probably still the best setup. I mean, you could argue things like Box Out Beast, Rebound Chaser, Off-Ball Pest, Chase Down Artist, but to me, these are the badges that all work the best and are always popping, and you're going to get value out of every single game. As you can see, we have Challenger, Clamps, and Interceptor all on gold. This means that we're going to put +3 badges into defense, so we can get all 3 of these on the Hall of Fame along with Glove. Or if you have the double defensive core, then you can save some badge points and just run double defensive core. And then you won't need to put any extra badges here. But to me, this is probably the best setup to run. This is what I'd recommend for on-ball or off-ball. Finishing on this build, pretty simple. As long as we have Limitless Takeoff, we're going to get our quick drops, which are really important to this build. You can either run Bronze Slithery or Bronze Posterizer, totally up to you. They're both decent badges at Bronze. I prefer Slithery just a little bit over Posterizer, but either one does its job, and they're going to help you finish a little bit better. Fearless Finisher on Silver, very good badge. Acrobat's kind of just a flex pick. I don't feel like any of the badges up here are really that good. So, and then Gold Giant Slayer, very good on a 6'3" guard. Anytime you go up for a layup by accident or it forces you out of a dunk, this badge will sometimes bail you out and actually bail you out pretty often. Very good badge on these small guards like a 6'3". And then Aerial Wizard's just on Bronze, just in case we get an oop thrown to us, helps that meter be a little bit bigger. To me, this is the best setup for your 6'3" build. So hopping into the shooting for this build, we have a few choices here that can be kind of flexed out for whatever you choose, but the necessities for this build are Hall of Fame Claymore, Gold Catch and Shoot, and gold limitless range. This build is designed to be a spot up. It doesn't have a ton of dribbling, so it's not going to be taking a ton of fades or having tons of speed to get off a lot of crazy fade shots or anything like that. But for that reason, you might not want to run Agent 3. I still feel like Agent 3 has its value even with a slower acceleration player, like not a dribble head player. If you're on the fast break, if you're just kind of taking a few steps after you catch it, whatever it may be, Agent 3 still has its value. If you do take a couple fades a game, Agent 3 is going to pop up on those shots. So to me, I still feel like it's worth it, but you technically don't need it on this build. Deadeye, I don't think is better than Blinders, but it kind of goes back to, again, this is not really a dribble head build. It's more of just a catch and shoot shooter. So I think it's better to probably use Deadeye, Limitless Range, and then these other spot up badges. And you could even toss Agent 3 to the side, use Green Machine, use Volume Shooter, use some Clutch Shooter, Mini Magician, whatever it may be. To me though, if I'm the 2 guard, even if I can't dribble, this is still the setup I would run personally. I might even switch out Deadeye for Blinders too. It just depends on your playstyle though. It depends on what badges you like. I think Deadeye is very good for catch and shoot. I think that Blinders is much better for fades, and it also has its uses for like shooting in the corner when people are contesting you from the side. So I think this is a pretty good setup. Either way, it's kind of hard to go wrong with the shooting guard spot. A lot of these badges are really good. So as far as the playmaking badges go on this build, obviously this build is not designed to be the secondary ball handler. It can do it a little bit. I wouldn't really put the ball on the floor too much with this build, but we do have a little bit of badges to make it possible. I mean, we have bronze unpluckable, bronze quick first step, we have bronze bailout, bronze vice grip, silver floor general, and silver dimer. We'll give a little bit of a boost to our teammates. We'll be able to hit the occasional fade or mid-range with bronze quick first step. We'll be able to pass out of our shots. We'll have a little unpluckable to not get ripped every time we dribble. But obviously, this build is not designed to be some kind of dribble head. If your shot's not there, don't be trying to get super flashy with this build. Pass it back to your point guard, make a play, whatever it may be. Don't do anything crazy. That's not the role of this build. So anyways, this is the playmaking setup. Pretty good. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. All of these things help out the channel, help out the algorithm, so I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to check out more of the content on my channel, build videos, proing videos, all that. We'll have 2 more videos about to pop up on the end card here in just a few seconds, so check those out. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. It's TLM Jev, and I am out.